views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, I'll keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
Hello, this is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Today I have two special guests. One is called Billy Ballenger and his wife Jodie Ballenger. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Patty. So glad to be with you today.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Oh, it's so kind to have you come on my show. I love your work, both of you, and I'm going to be
Thank you.
asking you questions in that, okay?
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And sounds like you're doing a lot of great things as well, helping a lot of people.
Especially for life. So, where were you both born and raised?
I was born in Franklin, Indiana, and raised in just south of Indianapolis, in that area, Franklin, Columbus, Indiana. To about the age of 16, then I went to reform school, and then you.
And then I was born in Fort Wayne, lived here until I was 9, and then moved to Cleveland, Ohio, and then lived the majority of my growing up years in Muncie, Indiana.
So you, where did you meet?
Well, we met in White's Residential and Family Services. It's in Wabash, Indiana. A lot of court systems around Indiana will send troubled youth to White's for reform and to help them get on the right track. And so White's has been around for 165 years.
Mm-hmm.
It helped thousands and thousands of kids, and we're a product of coming out of White's. And so that's where we met at. They would allow co-ed there on the campus. And so you could have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So when she was 15 and I was 16, we started going together.
Oh my goodness. How long have you known each other now?
35 years.
Since 1985.
Wow.
That means going on 36.
Yes.
So, when you said you went to reform, what led you to go there?
Well, there's a name for it. They would call it, juvenile delinquent or incorrigible. So I went there, I was a runaway, and then I got put on probation, and then the probation would monitor how I was treating my grandparents who I lived with at the time, or what my actions were. And so they keep monitoring that and keep an eye on you. Her case, she was a runaway and had spent several times locked up as a juvenile.
Yes.
Before that, in detention.
So my childhood, at 9 years old, my mom and dad got a divorce. That's when we lived right here in Fort Wayne. And my mom and me and 2 of my sisters moved to Cleveland, Ohio. I was 9 years old in 3rd grade, and we lived in a drug house. Within a week, I started getting high and popping pills. By the time, I'm sorry?
How old were you when you started?
I was 9 years old in 3rd grade. And so I was smoking pot and popping pills on a regular basis starting at 9. I started getting in trouble with the law at 11. I went to juvenile for the first time at 11. Starting at 11, I was in and out of juvenile, in and out of the children's home. By 14, I was on meth. And at 15 years old, I was sent to the reform school, which is White's Residential and Family Services now. And Billy and I met. And then once we got out, go ahead and tell that part of it.
I don't know if she's ready for that, but
Yeah.
when we got out of there, we were still in probation. Neither one of us were adults yet.
Oh.
So probation was monitoring us, but now you had two people in love.
Yeah.
So I went back to Franklin, Indiana, and then she goes back to Muncie, Indiana. From there, not Fort Wayne, Muncie at that time. And probation, we got to visit each other a few times, but a few times wasn't enough. So I just ran away from home for good. And her family let me move right in with them. So I moved in, and then by the age of 17 and 18, when she was 17 and I was 18, we got married, and our daughter was born on November the 20th that year, 87. So
Yes, we started selling pot, and our house was raided by a SWAT team in Muncie, Indiana, on September 12th, 1987. Our little girl was 9 months old, and she was taken out of my arms. When that happened, it really jolted us, and we were determined to change our life. Mindy went into foster care for 30 days, and then his mother took care of her from 10 months old all the way until she was 3.5. Billy and I moved to Indianapolis, Indiana, and were homeless until we were able to get up enough money to get a place to live. And it was during that time we were in a gas station, and a Christian man came in, overheard Billy say we needed to go because he needed to find a job. This Christian man, which we didn't know at the time, actually gave him a job right there on the spot.
He heard me say to her, "We got to go." I was in the gas station.
Yeah.
We have to go. I got to go find a job. And he hired me right then. He said, "I'll give you a job," just like that. And then
he asked right then, he said, "Can me and my wife come to your home tonight?" And when they came over, they witnessed to us.
They wanted to come to our house to tell us about their church.
Yes.
So he just invited himself, really. And I'm thinking, I can't tell this guy no. I felt comfortable with him, but I can't tell him no because he just gave me a job, kind of a thing,
Mm-hmm.
And so we have been friends with him from then till now.
And
Very good
so
friends.
I rededicated my life that evening, and we started going to the Lord. And we started going to this little bitty church down the street from our house, right outside of Fountain Square in Indianapolis. And we started going there on a regular basis. Our trial was 6 weeks later. And every time we would go, Billy would always lean over and say, "We are not coming back anymore." And then I'd agree to it. And then that Wednesday would come, and he's like, "Okay, well, let's go." And so we went every Wednesday, every Sunday, and
Till our trial, and then
Yes.
then the jury trial found us both guilty.
Oh.
Threw us back in jail, and then 2 weeks later, the judge sentenced each of us to 6 years in prison in Indiana.
And that couple that came and witnessed to us, their parents, Jeff's parents, came to see me every single week that I was in prison for 2 years.
You were in for 2 years?
Yes, we were in for 2 years.
They had given us a 6-year prison sentence,
Mhm.
but at that time in Indiana, whatever amount of time you were given, you had to do half of it. And then our judge released us 1 year early, so it would have been 3 actual time, but we ended up doing 2. And that was miraculous. I mean, that was a lot of people praying and us praying and asking for divine intervention, so that we could. And the cool thing is when they released us the same day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they released us the same day, and both of us at the same time.
Right.
And within 2 months of being released, we were granted full custody of our daughter with no strings attached.
Thank the Lord for small mercies.
So when we got out, Mindy was 3.5 years old.
Hmm.
And so from 9 months to 3.5 years, his mom took care of her and did a good job. And then about 11 months after we got out of prison, our son Jared was born.
Oh, good.
Yes.
How old are they now again?
I'm sorry?
How old are they now?
Our son is 28 and our daughter is 33.
God, blimey, you don't look it.
Thank you.
Blessings to you.
Yes, you are so blessed. You have any grandkids?
Yes. So we have 5.
Five. We already said that, didn't we? Sorry.
Yes. So our daughter's sons is 13,
Mhm.
10, and 8. And then our son has 2 children, which is 5 and 2. And then we finally, that last one was a little girl. So we
Finally got the little girl.
at the very end.
We love the boys, but we got the little girl now. So she'll be here at our home in just a little bit. So
Yes.
A baseball team there, you know.
for real. Yeah.
Yes, because our granddaughter's name is Wrigley, and our son and daughter-in-law love Wrigley Field and the Cubs.
Yeah.
So that's where her name came from. Yes.
So you wrote a book. Like,
Yes.
And what's it called?
It is Beautifully Unbroken, The Prostitute's Daughter. And it's my life story. It's my mom's story, and then my father's story, and then my story, and then our story. My mom had a lot of things happen to her when she was a child. And you'll read that in the book, and you can see what brought her to the point to where she felt like she had no other choice but to be a prostitute. And but I would love for you to read my book.
I'm reading halfway through right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You're just getting to the good part.
That's right.
Just, I hope you still like me after you get to my chapter.
Oh no, listen, you. You two are the perfect couple.
Yeah,
My
I feel God blessed us.
Amen.
And do you sing? When did you become a singer?
Oh man, oh gosh, I've been singing since I was a little boy, but I would say professionally 2001, and so almost 20 years. It'll be 20 years this September since I recorded my first music. So I'm just finishing. Let me see, I've got 7 albums and 2 EPs, and I'm finishing an EP right now. Oh yeah, Walking on Waves. Yes, I released that last year before we were privileged and honored to go on the Winter Jam tour. So 42 city arena tour around the US. And so we were able to do 32 cities before COVID hit. And but it was a great opportunity for us to be able to share the story of Jodie's book with others that need hope. And then also, you know, as far as the music that we write and the message that we have is that, you know, if we can make it, you can make it. And just showing people that with the Lord, they can do anything, you know, and that you can truly have a changed life. And if you have a broken situation, you don't have to stay broken. There is,
That's right.
at some point in your life, you know, once you've been broken, you know, you don't have to stay like that forever. God can do a miracle. And he can do, you know, it may be in the memory, it may be back there, but he can heal it. So that's what we feel very compelled to tell people with our story.
And how long have you all been married?
30 years come April 27th.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations. 30 years. That's an accomplishment.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyways. So what genre are your songs, sir?
I would say predominantly my music would be Christian contemporary music. You you know, I have performed. I love gospel music and gospel, and so Christian CCM, Christian contemporary music. The style would be a pop style. You know, I love. I've sang anything from heavy rock to more pop style music, and I like the pop style.
Oh yeah. Do you do any traditional or no?
If I'm doing like Christmas music or something like that, I would.
Definitely.
You know,
Oh,
I've
you
done
have
one.
Christmas?
I've done one Christmas album before, but I'm going to be. That's been many years ago, but I'm coming out with a new one this year. So.
Oh, well, that's a whole year to work on it, I suppose.
Yes.
So what you do last year when the pandemic?
We have had, since our ministry of traveling and speaking and performing, we've done a lot of work in the public school systems over the last 15 years. God has blessed us to reach face to face over 330,000 students in the public school systems in the United States.
Cool.
And that's 99% of them were public schools. And a small percentage were Christian education schools or something. So we work primarily there. And so your question, I got to open your question.
What happened when coronavirus?
So yeah, so what I was going to say was we came off the Winter Jam tour, and we had an internship of students that are age 18 to 24. They'd graduate high school, and they would come into our internship for 9 months. It was a discipleship program.
Oh yeah.
So teaching them Christian values and things, and then they would go on tour and perform and act and learn about setting up and tearing down equipment and go on these tours with us. And we came off COVID. We ended that. We closed down an office, moved our office to our home,
Right.
and had to put all of our merchandise in storage, you know, that you have CDs and shirts and hoodies and books and all this stuff, and just kind of thinking what we were going to do next. So what we've continued to do is just continue to work at the future. We use 2020 as a preparation year, and we just I worked on music obviously quite a bit because I have brand new EP coming out. So, and the book is still selling. So
Cool. Also, since you are kind of stuck at home, do you use Zoom like I'm using right now to get in touch with students?
with the schools, did you say?
Yes.
No, we have not been using Zoom for the schools because predominantly I work within a gymnasium or an auditorium with 1,000 students. You know, as a motivational speaker, and then you have a lot of school communities that have not been open, and some that have, and the ones that have, it's been limited to the amount of time. So I think we did one school assembly in 2020, and that was face to face. So, you know, other than we've been on Zoom, obviously, for television or radio or things like that, or communicating with our team. So everybody's just like you are, doing the best that we can with that. I think we did several dates last year, several travel dates, you know, out speaking or performing or those kinds of things, but not many schools right now. So.
Well, I understand Indiana is in the red with COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I just heard today that there were nearly 9,000 lives lost in Indiana alone since COVID hit.
In Allen County, I don't know how many.
I didn't see that one.
I just saw the Indiana.
So
So Jodie, you do inspiration, motivations.
Speaking, yes. I have done several women's events, and I just love encouraging them that no matter where you're at in life, you can make your next choice can change everything. And just good choice after good choice is what got us out of where we were. Yeah. And I just want to that is my message, that yes, I had a really rough childhood, but someone took the time to actually witness to us, and it's changed our lives. And so just taking that step of faith and saying, hey, Would you like to come to church with us? Can I come over to your house tonight? So that's my message.
Do you use Zoom to get in touch with these women?
No, we've done a lot of Zoom calls for TV since COVID, but no, it's always been in person. My last one was in October.
Oh,
Yeah.
And we've had some dates that we had scheduled for appearances like that they still tried to make something happen, but they had to cancel it because of COVID.
yeah.
So even for them to, maybe get people together, it just didn't work out, So again, we really felt like the Lord told us just to keep your chin up, keep marching forward.
Yes.
We're going to be all right. And try to help other people as much as you can during this time. And I do believe we're going to go back to a time when we can get together more, and commune together. I mean, it was something that I see in the Bible. It's just God's will. It's just we can't spend the rest of our lives apart. But for safety precautions and things like that, I understand.
When you do sing, have the freedom to sing, do you sing in churches?
Yes, I do.
What kind of churches? I mean, just Christian?
All kinds of churches. Yeah, I mean, I've done. You mentioned the Catholic Church. I did a whole school tour and then did a huge concert at a Catholic high school in Huntsville, Alabama. I loved it. I got to speak to the student body at the Catholic school. I absolutely loved that whole experience. All kinds of churches. I mean, lots of different denominations. We represent Jesus Christ. We know he's the one that changed our life. Without him, there would be we wouldn't have, our marriage wouldn't be like it is. We wouldn't have our daughter back, our son. Ain't no telling where we would be, because I had became very violent and just dangerously with the wrong crowd when we got in trouble. So we owe everything that's happening in our lives now. And that's another thing, is I want to encourage people who have been around for a while, don't pass the baton too early. Because God has still got plans for all of our lives. And I think we need to bridge the gap between the younger generation and the older generation to come together. For far too long, they've been separated. People have felt like, well, there's the older crowd and here's the younger crowd. And everybody's acted like they don't want to be together, but they need to be encouraged to be together, because the younger generation needs the wisdom from the older generation. And then I think the older generation needs to realize that they're not washed up and it's not over. We've got purposes in life that God gives each of us. He didn't ask nobody else to do that but you. He asked me and you to do these things. He didn't ask anybody else to do that specific thing. So I just want to minister to people, don't give up, don't quit, because right around the corner is your dream. And it may be this dream that God put in your heart as a little kid. And when people don't follow that purpose of that dream, I think that's one of the reasons that they can end up in depression.
Yeah. Well, there's a light at the end of this dark tunnel that's happening nowadays around the world.
Yeah.
I have written a song called the Corona Song.
Oh, wow.
And it was sung by Claire Bates. I can send it to you.
Yeah.
That was encouraging. It was put on TV and everything like that. So
That's awesome.
I like to thank you. I like to have you on as my guest when we do have studio time at Access Broadway Studio. TV station downtown at the main library.
Okay.
I love your voice, and I love you both. And I love your voice too, girl. Anyways, I like to say this is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page. Thank you, Jodie and Billy, for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope to have you on again. I think we will, if you want. So God bless, and see you next week.
God bless
Okay,
you.
bless you.
What do I do with all Godspeed, my love. God is with us always, and for the rest of our lives.